What goes around comes back around. Hey, my baby. What goes around comes back around. Hey, my baby.
2, 1. Welcome to Squeaky After Dark, and thanks for joining me. What I was going to talk about today was the 3 Ds, but I changed it. And I changed it to ego tripping, because sometimes the ego can get in our way and stop our blessing right in its tracks. And the reason why I say that is because I was in a small encounter today, and I felt the anger rising inside of me. And sometimes we can get so mad and not realize how mad we're getting, and we can do things we really don't want to do, or say things that we really don't want to mean, that we really don't mean, and that's feeding the ego. And so in order to get where we want to go in our blessings, sometimes we got to get to the small things and get those out the way. You know how God said you got to forgive other people, and you got to let live, and you got to not judge, and all these different kind of things. Checking the ego is a huge thing, and sometimes it can be a challenge. And the reason why I say that is because sometimes you're not aware of this person inside of you that's getting you to do things that you normally wouldn't do, or that could be unnatural. So as this anger was rising inside of me, I had to call her a name. And the reason why I had to call her a name, that's the only way I could acknowledge her and stop her from stopping my blessings. Sometimes we tend to not realize right in the act that ego is making us do things. And so I've had this ego attack me more than once. And the main thing was anger. Have you ever experienced somebody getting so mad that they did something that they later regretted? Yeah, that's the ego tripping. Setting you up for failure. Making that pride come before the fall, right? Because the ego will tell you, you know your man cheating on you. Or you know your girl ain't no good. Or you gonna let this person talk to you like that? Or you know you better than them. Or they'll never be as good as you or pretty as you. The ego sets you up and gets you mixed all up in this emotion. And you start to react or act upon the ego, and he gets you in trouble. It's so funny. It's weird. But it happens to the best of us. It probably happens to all of us. So my thing today is to talk about how to call it a name. And if you call it a name, you can acknowledge it. So now, every time that anger rides up inside of me, I call her Sheila. And so I tell her, I say, Sheila, calm down. Don't let her get the best of you, because God say if you quick to anger, you quick to fall, because you can't be quick to wrath. It's not good for the body. It's not good for universal law. If you're putting anger and evilness out into the world, guess what? It's going to circle back. It's coming back, because karma comes back. So if you give that thing a name and then you call him or her out on it, you can stop her in her tracks. Just like some people have drinking problems. And every time that drinking demon or drinking ego, because you can call it a demon. Sometimes they're demons, sometimes they're egos. Sometimes they're just a natural part of your body that want to make you do things that are unhealthy. So if you got somebody who wants to drink all the time, give them a name. Paul. Not today. I don't want to ruin my liver today, Paul. I don't want to make my eyes yellow, Paul. I don't want to drink too much to where when I get old, I'll be sick, Paul. So if you give him a name and call him out, you can stop him sometimes in his tracks. Or I know somebody personally who has a lazy demon inside of them. So every time they go to do something, that lazy demon comes out of them, and they don't get the things done. They procrastinate, they make excuses, they become lethargic, they want to watch TV all day. If the early bird gets the worm, you got to call that lazy ego something, so the lazy ego can stop you from being lazy. Now I know we want to say, well, that's just who I am. No, that's not who you are. The ego is ego tripping. The ego can set you up to have a bad marriage. The ego can set you up to not go back to school. The ego can set you up to not get that promotion. The ego can set you up to think you're better than everybody. And God teaches us all that he's no respecter of persons. Rich, poor, happy, or sad. We're all equal. So what makes you think you're better than the next person? You know how you get out to the club and you got a few dollars and you start to treat people like they less than you? Or you can be somewhere and somebody could be, you know, out there ringing the bell and they're poor and you can think that you're better than them. But that's not the case. That's the ego telling you that you're better than them. And so you start to mistreat people because you think they're less than you or underneath you. But guess what? That karma law comes back to haunt us all. So it's a good thing to start working on these people inside of us that we can call an ego, we can call a demon, or we can call him whatever it is that we want to call him, so that we can stop him in his tracks to stop us from stopping our blessings, okay? Because a lot of things tend to happen when the ego steps in. I'm going to give you another example. Examples are good for me. I know this little boy. Great kid. But every time he gets angry, you can see the anger rise in him, where he feels like he's not controlling the situation, or he feels like he knows everything, or he feels like he's right. And he gets real mad. And then he wants to do stuff. And as they get older, that anger demon will get worse. Then if they can't control the situation, it'll come out in violence. It'll act out some kind of way, because the ego is an emotion. And it gets you all stirred up. And then it makes you react. I know you've been in a situation, ladies out there, where you be like, oh, he cheating on me? You want to control the situation? So the ego be like, oh, you gonna let him just cheat on you like that? Then what you do? Oh, I'm gonna ride past his house real quick, right? So you're gonna get up, stop what you're doing, ride past another human's house because you want to control him, because the ego is telling you to do this. So now you're setting yourself up for heart failure, not heart failure, but a broken heart. Same thing, heart failure. Your heart is failing. You're setting yourself up for a broken heart or disappointment. And the truth of the matter is, you can't control another human being, first of all. And second of all, it's the ego telling you to do these things. So you got to learn to stop the ego right in its tracks. And I know it can be a very hard task. Trust me, I struggle with it every day. It's a hard task, but it's something, I guess, that we can all do together. And the reason why I wanted to share this with you is because I've recently called somebody out, and it's been helping me every day. So if you got that ego, whose ego tripping on you, stop him in his tracks, okay? Because you still can win no matter what. So that's all you got to do, is wrap him up, stop him up, hit him up, whatever you need to do so you can make it happen. Thanks for being with me. See you in the future.
What goes around comes back around. Hey.